Conference Finals have arrived on the mean streets of Milwaukee. The Toronto Raptors and the Milwaukee Bucks playing Game 1 a half hour from now at brand new Fiserv Forum. Better than 17,500 will be inside.
We got about 2,000 out here.
Which is about what we have out here.
Sound good, too.
In the Deer District. They are 4 wins away from the NBA Finals.
Wait, the dog is killing me.
8 wins away from the ultimate prize.
Oh, my God. This is awesome.
Ernie, they
got a dog up there.
Ernie, they got a dog in the crowd making noise.
There's another dog, man.
It is a beautiful spring night.
It's nice and nice out here. It is. Are you not entertained, Milwaukee? Are you not entertained?
This is great. I'll tell you what.
Man, they cracking.
We welcome you to TNT NBA Tip-Off. It's presented by Auto Trader. That's Shaq. That's Kenny. That's Charles. I'm Ernie. This is my hometown. Shout out Wauwatosa.
Ernie giving shout-outs. Oh,
shout out North 68th Street.
Hey, Ernie, don't be throwing up signs now. Don't be throwing no signs up in here.
Hey, Kenny, it's the nicest crowd we ever had, right?
I think it is. Ernie getting the Ernie. Oh, my goodness. I love it. I love it.
Go on, Kenny. Ernie, before we get started, we got to make sure this crowd is really live. Ready? Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care. Let me hear you say Milwaukee. Say Milwaukee. Say Bucks. Say Bucks. Okay. All right. They ready.
So, it has been a week since the Bucks played. That's when they punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals. Meantime, Toronto, with the memory still very fresh in their minds of what happened Sunday, the shot.
Whatever play you draw up, I'm about to get to my spot and shoot it with confidence.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game! Series! Toronto has won! 15 fourth quarter points by Kawhi Leonard. 41 points and the game winner.
He hit a tough one. Man, he's an incredible player. We know it. Y'all know it. Ain't too much more you can say about it.
It was cool. It was all the fans, team, everybody around. It was crazy. It was one of the moments where it's like a real life game winner, Game 7. They counted down when you back home, and everyone was celebrating like that. It was a pretty awesome moment.
An unforgettable shot, and this also an unforgettable shot from Rick Madonic of the Toronto Star.
Who is that dude in the picture with Kawhi?
He made it.
You know who it is?
Oh, he on the team.
Jordan Lloyd, who played 12 games this year, scored 29 points, went
Jordan
to Furman,
made the picture.
And he made the picture. Look at Embiid, hoping it doesn't go.
That's one of the greatest photos ever right there. He should be suspended, Chuck. He crossed that line.
You know what?
He wasn't on the active roster anyway.
But that's what's great.
A great picture.
He was just as excited.
Ernie, give a shout out to give a shout out again. What's that photographer's name?
Rick Madonic.
That's awesome, brother.
Yeah, that is tremendous. Hey, Marv Albert's going to be calling this Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Reggie Miller, Chris Webber with him and working the sidelines. Kristen Ledlow, who is standing by inside Fiserv Forum. Kristen.
Ernie, I sat down with Kawhi Leonard earlier today. I did ask him about that photo, asked if he would frame it. He laughed and said, there's a lot of photos, but probably. Either way, I asked him about the shot, those bounces that I think to all of us felt like they took somewhere between 30 seconds and 30 years. He said that they felt like they took the 2 seconds they actually took, but he was waiting for that second bounce to see whether it came off the rim, hard or soft, and once he saw it hit the back of the rim, he thought he had a pretty good shot at it. Kawhi and I also talked about this unique opportunity to slow down, or perhaps shut down Giannis Antetokounmpo. Here's what he had to say.
It's just not gonna take one guy, you know what I mean? It got to be a whole team concept, not showing lanes or gaps, and you know, then it doesn't just end with him. They got guys over there making shots. You know, Chris Middleton's an all-star player as well. making shots for him, playing defense on the other end. So, you know, he's leading them. He's doing a great job. Obviously, you have to try to slow him down first, but that doesn't mean you're going to win the game.
Kawhi went on to tell me that the key to this team's success is that everybody just wants to win. Nobody's worried about personal goals, but the team's accomplishment, and that is why this Raptors team is in the Eastern Conference Finals. Ernie.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Probably can be echoed on the Milwaukee side of thing, the way you've seen the Bucks play out this season, too. Chuck, what does this series come down to in your mind?
Can Kawhi get any help? Plain and simple. I think the Milwaukee Bucks have a better supporting cast, even though I love Toronto. But those guys did not show up in Game 7 against Philly. They're going to have to play their bench, who I've been bragging on their bench for 2 years, got to give Kawhi some help. Kawhi's going to do his thing. Giannis going to do his thing also. To me, it's going to be about the supporting cast. That's why I have the Bucks taking this thing. But that's the key for Toronto. Get some help from anybody.
I want to show you a couple of numbers on here. Offensively and defensively, the route that these teams have taken to the Eastern Conference Finals, Milwaukee, it's all been about offense. They play good defense also, but they're scoring 117 and have scored at least 100 in 8 of their 9 games. Toronto, meantime, allowing 96 and have allowed under 100 in 9 of their 12 games. They're 8-1 when they hold teams under 100. So who wins the battle of wills, Kenny, offense versus defense in this series?
Well, I would say that the one thing that you would say in the Eastern Conference, that Milwaukee had the advantage to me over most teams. If they had more possessions, they had more talent, and so they would win the possession game and speeding up the tempo. I'm not sure if they have more talent to do that against Toronto, but I do think home court advantage will be the difference because the teams are so evenly matched. I'm not sure of not starting this series in the North and starting it in your hometown, the mean streets. I think that will be the difference in this series.
I like what you're saying, Kenny, but you know, Chuck knows, you give me a team that's playing well together, I'll beat talented guys anytime. Chuck makes a great point. Ever since we talked about Siakam being the number 2 guy, he hasn't showed up in Game 4, 5,
since
6.
The injury.
Since the injury. He hasn't showed up. So I like Milwaukee. I like how they play. I like their support cast. And Middleton and Bledsoe have to play well for them to get to the next round.
And let me say one thing, Ernie. That's a perfect example why I don't like analytics at time. You can make those stats show whatever you want to. Let me tell you, they ain't never going to hold this Bucks team under 100 points. You go back and look at Toronto. The 2 teams they have played, Orlando Magic, they're a young team, very inexperienced, got a bright future. And the Philadelphia 76ers, number 1, Embiid didn't play in a couple of those games. Ben Simmons is flawed because he don't know how to shoot the ball. So those numbers, they're not going to hold the Milwaukee Bucks under 100 in any game, in my opinion. So you can make those numbers say what you want to.
That was just the numbers from the playoffs so far. And again, I respect that opinion that, look, this Milwaukee team, you're really going to have to do something to hold them under 100 points.
Yes,
it has not been happening.
And you can't do it.
There's Malcolm Brogdon. You saw he came back in the last game of the previous series. And they are getting set to take the floor here at Fiserv Forum. And we are getting set to be served. They got some great grub inside Fiserv Forum with senior executive chef Kenneth Hardiman.
Well, you come say hello, brother.
Yeah.
Hey, how you
Thank
doing,
y'all.
man?
Hey, Kenneth. How you doing, Kenneth?
We got the Milwaukee. We got the Milwaukee.
Turn that way,
by
camera. Get on camera.
What's up, Kenneth?
We got the Happy Chicken by Dan. We got pretzels with cheese sauce by the Milwaukee Pretzel Company.
Wow.
Pork belly burnt ends by Iron Great Barbecue, and classic mac and cheese by Mac Shack.
Man.
All of that to be devoured by Shaquille O'Neal in the next commercial.
Thank you guys, man.
Yeah. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate the hospitality.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys, and we know that food was good, but Ernie, we got a better treat. Tell them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you have royalty coming onto the set next, Oscar Robertson will join us here as you see the Milwaukee Bucks take the floor inside. A guy who was here for the only championship for the Milwaukee Bucks. There he is, the Big O, joins us next here on TNT NBA Tip-Off, presented by Auto Trader. Eastern Conference Finals, the plaque at the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame belonging to Oscar Robertson, the Big O, the #1 pick in the 1960 draft, and a member of that Milwaukee Buck championship team of 1971, the team that went 66-16 and 12-2 in the postseason, sweeping the Baltimore Bullets in the NBA Finals. And Oscar Robertson, we got basketball royalty in the house.
Yes,
Thank you so much for joining us here.
Yes.
It's great to see you again.
That's good picks, man.
Yeah, For you, I would.
I like those big guys.
Yeah, you know I got you.
What is your fondest recollection of that year as you and Kareem and Bob Dandridge and others teamed up to bring an NBA championship here?
Well, I think it was getting the guys together because when I came up to Milwaukee, I didn't know about it. I knew who was here. But we went out and started working out, and guys would want shots and this, so I figured I had to sacrifice a little bit to get them in the game.
How long have you been waiting for this moment? I know the city is very excited, but how long have you been waiting for this moment? Eastern Conference Finals, a really good team, possibility of getting to the finals and winning another championship.
I think it's wonderful. I think it's wonderful for different teams to come along because the Golden State's been at the top of everything for so long. They knocked off Houston. It looks like they may beat Portland. So I think this is a team that can really challenge them, to be honest.
You know what? First of all, you look great. Not good.
Thank you.
You look great. And I also want to ask, not just about this series, but there's been an influx of guys getting triple-doubles now. The difficulty of getting it in your era to the difficulty of now without, just understanding the game and seeing how it's evolved.
Well, one thing is for sure, you had Bill Russell, you had Nate Thurman, you had Wilt Chamberlain. And when I came along to play basketball, the assist had to be going to someone who went directly to the basket. I couldn't throw the ball back out to anyone in the corner. We hit a jump shot, and that was not an assist in that particular time.
Wow. I was having dinner with somebody last night, and we were talking about Kawhi Leonard. And we talk about it all the time. He always plays at his pace. And when we look at you, you look like you always played at your pace, and you never look like you were sped up or slowed down. Do you see the similarities at the pace you always control the tempo?
Well, playing guard is a little different, because I just felt that I could get the shot away when I wanted to get it there. But, I'm trying to get the other guys in the game, which was my thing, because when we had Kareem, I knew he was a tremendous basketball player. It would be foolish for me not to throw him the ball. So which is what we tried to do, and we did it very successfully.
I was looking at your numbers last night, and obviously the 1962 season when you averaged the triple-double. But then the next 3 years, you could have done it again. 1963, you had 9.5 assists. 1964, 9.9 rebounds. You were that close to a triple-double. 1965, 9 rebounds. So you almost had 4 in a row. And were you guys even calling them triple-doubles back then?
No, not at all. I didn't know anything about those triple-doubles. But you have to understand, during those days, the dominant people were Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain. So no one else got a lot of ink as far as really doing a lot of things. And they were great at what they were doing, and they led their teams to victory.
Speaking of dominance, we all know Giannis is dominant. Doesn't have a jump shot. Do you think he needs to develop a jump shot to be the greatest player to ever play the game?
Well, Magic didn't have a jump shot either. Look where he is. I think Giannis is a tremendous basketball player. I think the other players have to understand what he's trying to do a lot of times, and sometimes they get in his way. And when I say that, because they don't move, and the team on defense goes into like a 2-3 zone. They got to crisscross and do something, get out of the way sometimes. But he's a tremendous athlete, and I'll tell you right now, I don't see how they're going to stop him unless they double or triple team him.
I saw this year when you gave Zion Williamson his award. What was that? How excited that you got a chance to see him play?
Yes. I really liked him. He's a very nice young man, and I think that his problem he's going to have is where he goes. Yeah. And I told him, I said, Zion, I'll tell you this. I said, I came up to Cincinnati, and sometimes the draft is not very kind to certain basketball players because they'll put you with a team, and they want you to win. No matter who they have. They might not have a good team, but they want you to win. And I said, I hope that you get with a team that has some quality players so that all the emphasis won't be on you to win the game.
Oscar Robertson, we're always honored when you take the time for us. You have no idea what it means to us, and thank you so much.
Well, I came up here to see a victory, and I hope I get that done.
We will see you on TNT tonight when they play this game at the bottom of the hour.
Uh-oh, Ernie.
North 68.
Look at his hood,
shouting
Kenny.
back at you. Thank you very much.
Look at his hood, Kenny.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
that's the great.